In 2025, the world stands more divided than ever as tensions between the United States and China reach new heights. Countries are quietly, and sometimes loudly, choosing sides. While America still holds immense power, a growing number of nations are leaning toward Beijing. Why is this happening, and what does it mean for the future of the world? Let's examine 10 countries that are backing China against the USA in 2025. Some of them may surprise you. Number 10. Iran. In 2025, Iran's alliance with China has solidified into one of the most critical geopolitical shifts in the Middle East. A key pillar of this partnership is the 25-year Strategic Cooperation Agreement, signed in 2021 and now being actively implemented. Under this deal, China has committed to invest up to $400 billion in Iran's energy, infrastructure, and banking sectors. According to data from Iran's Ministry of Petroleum, China now purchases nearly 87% of Iran's oil exports, often at discounted rates, helping Tehran circumvent Western sanctions and stabilize its economy. In the past year alone, Iran's non-oil trade with China surpassed $14.8 billion, a 38% increase compared to 2023. This trade boom has given Iran breathing room, as its access to Western markets remains blocked. Beyond trade, the Iran-China axis extends to military and diplomatic coordination. In March 2024, China and Iran conducted their fifth joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman alongside Russia, showcasing a growing military alignment. Iran also openly supports China's stance on Taiwan and Xinjiang, while Beijing defends Tehran in international forums like the UN Security Council. Just this year, China used its veto power to block a US-backed resolution condemning Iran's nuclear activities. Number 9. Pakistan. In 2025, Pakistan's deepening ties with China have become a cornerstone of its foreign policy and a direct counterbalance to its historically tense relationship with the US. At the heart of this alliance lies the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, a massive infrastructure initiative now valued at over $62 billion, up from $46 billion in its early phases. According to the Planning Ministry of Pakistan, CPEC projects have created over 236,000 jobs and fueled major developments in transport, energy, and digital connectivity. Now, before we jump into the next nation on this list, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It keeps us going, keeps this content coming, and helps you stay ahead of the curve. Number 8. Belarus. In 2025, Belarus has emerged as one of China's most loyal allies in Europe, especially as its own tensions with the West continue to escalate. Following its growing isolation after supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Belarus has strategically aligned itself with China both economically and diplomatically. According to Belarus's Ministry of Economy, trade with China reached a record $9.5 billion in 2024, a 35% increase from the previous year. The cornerstone of this relationship is the Great Stone Industrial Park, the largest Chinese overseas project in Europe, spanning over 112 square kilometers. Backed by Chinese investment of over $1.2 billion, it has attracted more than 100 companies from 15 countries, primarily operating under Chinese management and standards. In recent UN sessions, Belarus backed China's claims over Taiwan and rejected Western criticism of China's human rights policies in Xinjiang. In March 2025, President Alexander Lukashenko met with Chinese President Xi Jinping and reaffirmed Belarus's participation in the Belt and Road Initiative, calling China Belarus's most important comprehensive strategic partner. Number 7. Venezuela. Venezuela, possessing the largest proven oil reserves in the world according to OPEC, has become a vital energy partner for China in 2025. In 2024, Venezuela exported over 420,000 barrels of crude oil per day to China, often through indirect routes to bypass U.S. sanctions. This economic lifeline has helped stabilize Venezuela's struggling economy. In return, China has poured billions into Venezuela's oil infrastructure, telecommunications, and military systems. According to data reportedly from PDVSA, Venezuela's state-owned oil company, over $25 billion in Chinese financing has been funneled into critical sectors since the partnership expanded post-2020. In early 2025, Venezuela and China signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement covering trade, technology, and intelligence sharing. Meanwhile, China continues to shield Venezuela from US-led resolutions at the UN, effectively acting as its diplomatic bodyguard. Number 6. Serbia. By 2025, Serbia has steadily transformed into one of China's closest European allies, marking a major leap in their partnership. The two countries signed a free trade agreement in 2023, which officially came into effect in January 2024, eliminating tariffs on over 10,000 products. As a result, bilateral trade surged past $6 billion by late 2024, a record high according to Serbia's Ministry of Trade. Chinese companies have heavily invested in Serbian infrastructure, especially through the Belt and Road Initiative, funding key projects like highways, bridges, and railways. One standout example is the Belgrade-Budapest high-speed rail line, expected to be operational by mid-2025, which will reduce travel time between the capitals to under 3 hours. In April 2025, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić praised China as Serbia's most trustworthy global partner during a state visit to Beijing. Serbia has also backed China's territorial claims in the South China Sea and refused to criticize its actions in Xinjiang and Hong Kong. In return, China has supported Serbia's stance on Kosovo, blocking any Western-led resolutions that seek to legitimize its independence. Before we jump into the next nation on this list, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It keeps us going, keeps this content coming, and helps you stay ahead of the curve. Number 5. Cambodia. In 2025, Cambodia has emerged as one of China's most loyal partners in Southeast Asia. Chinese investment continues to flood into the country, particularly through the Belt and Road Initiative. According to the Council for the Development of Cambodia, Chinese FDI reached a record $2.9 billion in 2024, accounting for over 40% of Cambodia's total foreign direct investment. Massive projects, like expressways and special economic zones, including the Sihanoukville Special Economic Zone, often dubbed the Shenzhen of Cambodia, are transforming the country's landscape. Politically, Cambodia has been a consistent supporter of China on the global stage. Prime Minister Hun Manet, who succeeded his father Hun Sen, has continued his family's pro-China stance. In early 2025, Cambodia reaffirmed its backing of Beijing's One China policy and rejected international criticism of China's policies in Xinjiang and the South China Sea. Number 4. Zimbabwe. In 2025, Zimbabwe has deepened its strategic partnership with China, becoming one of Beijing's most vocal allies in Africa. Following years of isolation from Western countries due to sanctions and political unrest, Zimbabwe has actively sought Chinese investment. According to Zimbabwe's Ministry of Finance, Chinese investments reached over $5.5 billion by the end of 2024, primarily in mining, energy, and infrastructure sectors. Major projects include the expansion of the Hwange power station and new mining operations in lithium, a critical resource for China's growing electric vehicle industry. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa declared in early 2025 that China was Zimbabwe's all-weather friend, emphasizing a shared vision of resisting perceived Western domination. Diplomatically, Zimbabwe has consistently supported China's policies in international forums, backing Beijing on issues like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the South China Sea. In March 2025, Zimbabwe signed a comprehensive security cooperation pact with China, which includes cyber security, intelligence sharing, and military training support. Number 3. North Korea. In 2025, North Korea remains one of China's most critical and unwavering allies, with ties growing even deeper amid rising tensions between Beijing and Washington. Trade between the two nations has surged after pandemic-related restrictions eased. Chinese customs data shows bilateral trade reached $2.3 billion in 2024, a 20% increase compared to the previous year. China supplies nearly 90% of North Korea's energy, food, and consumer goods, making Pyongyang heavily dependent on Beijing's support. Moreover, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made a rare visit to China in February 2025, where both sides pledged to strengthen strategic coordination, particularly in military and cybersecurity domains. In April 2025, North Korean state media praised China's resistance against Western imperialism during escalating diplomatic disputes with the US and its allies. China, in turn, has shielded North Korea from new United Nations sanctions, arguing for dialogue over pressure regarding Pyongyang's recent missile tests. Number 2. Myanmar. In 2025, Myanmar has solidified its position as one of China's most crucial allies in Southeast Asia, especially after facing growing international isolation following the 2021 military coup. According to Myanmar's Ministry of Investment and Foreign Economic Relations, Chinese investment in Myanmar surged to over $4.6 billion in 2024, mainly focused on energy, infrastructure, and mining sectors. Key projects under the China-Myanmar Economic Corridor, which includes oil and gas pipelines and new trade routes connecting China to the Indian Ocean, have made Myanmar strategically vital for China's Belt and Road Initiative. In early 2025, Myanmar openly backed China's territorial claims in the South China Sea and supported its One China policy regarding Taiwan. Number 1. Russia. In 2025, Russia stands as China's most powerful and committed ally against the United States and its Western partners. The alliance between Moscow and Beijing has grown significantly since the start of the Ukraine conflict. According to China's General Administration of Customs, trade between the two nations reached a historic high of $280 billion in 2024. Amid ongoing Western sanctions, Russia has become heavily reliant on China for technology, energy exports, and potentially non-lethal military-related supplies. Military cooperation has also intensified, featuring joint naval drills in the East China Sea and plans for a new security pact unveiled during a high-profile summit between Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin in March 2025. On the diplomatic front, Russia has backed China's global ambitions, openly supporting its claims over Taiwan and the South China Sea. In April 2025, Russia publicly endorsed China's criticism of new U.S. military bases in the Pacific region, labeling them provocations of war. Meanwhile, China has supported Russia's position concerning the conflict in Ukraine, providing crucial economic lifelines and political cover. As the world becomes increasingly polarized, the China-Russia axis has emerged as the leading counterbalance to Western influence, forging a partnership that is reshaping global geopolitics in 2025 and beyond. If you found this analysis eye-opening, consider sharing your thoughts and subscribe for more geopolitical insights.